Welcome back, video fans and radio fans alike, and internet fans. Welcome to the party. My friends, I am doing my best to thwart the evil influences around me and technology. I'm trying to go back on video today. You'll find out if I've succeeded after the show is off the air and you check YouTube and Facebook. If you see my face, then you know I succeeded and you lost. If you don't see me, you'll know that I'm losing the war yet again with technology. I think that's my destiny. Anyway, I'm Howard Riell. The show is called Riell Truth. Welcome, whether you're listening or watching. I'm very happy to have you with me. Let's hit an item from Breitbart and via Reuters. The New York Times Company reported a 95.7% fall in quarterly profit, hit by restructuring charges related to headcount reductions. Net profit attributable to the newspaper publisher fell to $406,000 or break-even per share in the third quarter, from $9.4 million or 6 cents a share a year earlier. Stop, that's not the whole story. The New York Times and Reuters might want you to believe that this is the result of restructuring charges. I believe it's the result of truth, or more specifically, the absence of truth in the pages of the New York Times. And to the editors of the New York Times, don't worry, you're not alone. I'm not singling you out. There has been a shortage of truth in general from the media during this election cycle, even more than usual. Not just the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, CBS, NBC, ABC, even Fox News. And you know I'm talking about Megyn Kelly, Shepard Smith, Juan Williams, Dana Perino, Geraldo Rivera, Brit Hume, etc., etc. In addition to pollsters across the country and the political parties and the never-Trumpers in the Republican Party, they have been operating at a deficit of truth. That's a big reason why the New York Times is sinking. It's the exact same reason why there's no liberal radio talk show hosts to speak of, because people know they're full of it and they don't want to listen to nonsense. I left one out. Our government, our federal government, lies its ass off. Americans are sick to death of lies. We don't like being lied to. The truth may not be great, but give us the truth at least. Let us judge. Once we know the truth, then we can take steps to make things better. As long as we're operating under lies and propaganda and spin, we can't get any traction. Anyway, I've got traction here. It's Riell Truth, and it's Wednesday. Go nowhere.
Of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo. Hello, this is Ron Douglas, and I am founder of the Self-Reliance Expo. We're excited to announce our 6th annual Self-Reliance Expo at the National Western Complex, November 4th and 5th. It's a Friday and a Saturday. Tickets are only $10 or $15 for a weekend pass. And of course, kids are always free because we want this to be a family-friendly event. We have food storage, water purification systems, health classes. We've got first aid classes. We have self-defense classes. You name it, we have it. We also have, we're really excited this year for the first time ever to have a training on ham radio operations, and you can take the test right there on the spot and become a certified ham radio operator. Also, we're excited to have Survival Frog as one of our sponsors. Survival Frog is giving away survival kits. That's right, 100 survival kits to the first people to walk through the door on Friday, November 4th. And Berkey Water Systems is also giving away 100 Sport Berkey water bottles to the first 100 people to show up on Friday, November 4th and 5th at the National Western Complex, Self-Reliance Expo.
My friends, it's been a few months since I was on video. I'm trying it again today. Let's see if it works. If we do, it's one more win for the good guys. Okay, you hear the name Huma Abedin all over the place today, but a lot of people don't know who she is. Yeah, she's the top advisor to Hillary, but a lot of people don't know who she really is. That's why I'm here. Give a listen to this. You'll find this, by the way, on my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio. Here we go. Listen closely. Take notes.
Her history and alarming connections are mostly unknown to the American people. Who is Huma Abedin? What do we know about Hillary Clinton's #1 aide and sidekick for 20 years? Hillary spoke at Huma's wedding saying, "If I had a second daughter, it would be Huma." This presidential election decides who gets to run the most powerful country on earth, so it is obviously very important to understand the facts about Huma Abedin, as she may very soon become Chief of Staff in the White House. I'll be simplifying an intricate web of people, organizations, and events that unraveled over many years. All of this information and more is available online for anyone who has access to Google. Anyway, here is an unbelievable story of infiltration, unfolding before our eyes, and the most important aspect of this election that you definitely won't see on CNN. There are 4 main players in this: Hillary Clinton, Huma Abedin, Abdullah Omar Nassif, and Saudi Arabia. Huma was born in the USA. Then when she was 2 years old, her family moved to Saudi Arabia. They lived in Saudi Arabia for 16 years. Huma returned to the USA when she was 18 to study at George Washington University. Only after 2 years in the country, she became an intern for Hillary Clinton, and soon after started working full-time. Also in 1996, Huma was working at her family business, a journal by the Institute of Muslim Minority Affairs. The Abedin's family business is owned by the Muslim World League, Saudi Arabia's global organization that promotes violent Wahhabi Islam. They even share an office at 46 Goodge Street, London. Saliha Abedin, Huma's mother, and Hassan Abedin, Huma's brother, currently work there still. Abdullah Omar Nassif is one of the founders of the Muslim World League and served as vice president of the Saudi Kingdom Shura Council. He created Huma's family business along with her father. He also funded Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, as did Saudi Arabia, for many years. His organization was declared guilty of funding Al-Qaeda terrorism by the USA State Department. During the Holy Land Foundation trial in 2001, the FBI discovered that the Muslim Brotherhood gave over $12 million to Hamas, the terrorist organization. They also found the secret 18-page plan for the Muslim Brotherhood, which explains that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying Western civilization from within. This document is available online in full. One of the many listed organizations within the Muslim Brotherhood was the Muslim Students Association, which Huma was an executive board member on for 3 years. Only 2 years after Huma left, Anwar al-Awlaki, the Al-Qaeda member and preacher to 9/11 hijackers, became chaplain of the same Muslim Students Association that Huma was a part of. To make things worse, Huma's mother, Saliha Abedin, is a leading member of the Muslim Sisterhood, the women's division of the Muslim Brotherhood. All of these organizations share the same goal and tell us repeatedly in plain English. They want to destroy Western civilization and replace our laws with oppressive Sharia law like you see in Saudi Arabia. On 9/11, Abdullah Omar Nassif, Saudi Arabia, and Al-Qaeda tried to do just that. Where was Huma that day? The top funders of the 9/11 attacks created Huma's family business. Huma was officially working for the terrorists and Hillary Clinton the day those towers fell. Huma Abedin has never come forward with any information about her Saudi co-workers. Absolutely none of Huma's connections were mentioned by her during the investigations into 9/11. She has made no mention of her relationship to Abdullah Omar Nassif, the Muslim World League, Muslim Brotherhood, or her current status at her family business, which could be of unimaginable assistance to the FBI and the CIA. Huma's mother still works for the Muslim World League, yet Huma has made no effort to distance herself from her mother or her radical views. Saliha Abedin is a leading Sharia activist who has, for example, published a book called Women in Islam that claims secular man-made laws enslave women. It supports female genital mutilation, the death penalty for leaving Islam, the legal subordination of women, and the participation of women in violent jihad. Hillary Clinton has flown to meet with Saliha Abadan many times. Humer says that her mother considers her to be a big deal and is proud of her. Humer's absolute silence on all questions regarding her extremist ties says far too much. How can someone with such close links to terrorism be allowed access to our top secret information and have security clearances? Especially since it was found that Humer was accessing Hillary Clinton's emails and physical documents. The Clinton Foundation received over $25 million from Saudi Arabia, and they also funded 20% of her election campaign. Saudi Arabia's massive influence on the Clintons and Obama administration has not gone unnoticed. The damaging results of Islamist influence on the USA and Europe is worthy of another dedicated report, as this is just the tip of the corrupt iceberg. But you can no longer deny that Hillary Clinton is actively working with a global movement whose goal is to destroy Western civilization.
Now, why would Hillary work with such a group? Come on, guys. You're sharp enough to know the answer to that. Hillary Clinton is a whore and a piece of garbage, and they offer her big money, and she takes it. What does she get? Doesn't matter. What do they want to do? Doesn't matter. How will that affect America? Doesn't matter. All that matters is that Hillary gets money, and that's what you need to know before you vote. Item from the College Fix. Universities across the nation are taking steps to actively purge male students of what's been labeled, quote, toxic masculinity, unquote. Examples abound of campuses hosting training sessions, group meetings, lectures, and other programs to effectively cleanse what many campus leaders and left-leaning scholars contend is an unhealthy masculinity in young men today. On campus, toxic masculinity is often blamed for sexual violence, body shaming, a hyper-masculinized sporting culture, acts of domestic terrorism, and much more, unquote. My friends, throw your arms around your sons because they are under attack by the leftists in this country. The PC police will take a break, and we'll be back. Riell Truth continues. right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. You know, there are some shady goings on in this country, to say the least. Here's my colleague on InfoWars, Paul Joseph Watson, talking to a guy named Bill Mitchell about the upcoming election and the forces of evil, better known as the Democratic Committee, the Hillary Clinton people, are working to steal the election from Donald Trump and worse, from the American people. Paul Joseph Watson, InfoWars, Bill Mitchell. Let's listen.
This is the Alex Jones Show Live. I'm Paul Joseph Watson. We're going to go to our guest now, who is Bill Mitchell, host of Your Voice Radio at yourvoiceradio.com. And as I said beforehand, consistently listed as one of the top influencers on social media during this election cycle. Again, you can go to his Twitter account. He's posted the impressions that he gets for his tweets alone. It's almost at 200 million every month at this point. And it's the same with a lot of people, Cernovich, myself. We're absolutely crushing them to the point now where Hillary Clinton's tweets get less retweets than ours, despite the fact that she's got national attention and 10 million plus followers. That's how we're winning the narrative on social media. Of course, he's also an expert on the polls, which we're going to delve into. Bill, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you? Nice to finally meet you face-to-face, sort of.
Good to speak to you. Now, I wanted to get into the polls straight away because, of course, that's your primary focus. We've seen in many of them, at first they tried to claim that there was very little shift. But after the FBI announcement, for example, you know, this ABC poll today, we've got, what, a 12, 13-point shift away from people supporting Hillary. In the numbers we've seen so far since the FBI announcement, is this shift in support towards Trump quantifiable? Do you think it could be what tips things in Trump's favor come November the 9th?
You know, I've been saying all along that this is a change election. We have approximately 72% of the electorate that is unhappy with the direction of this country. This is very similar to 1980. And I've been saying all along that all of the polls, all of the debates, all the ads, all the gotchas and scandals, in the end, really don't matter as much as the fact that in a change election, the change candidate wins, period. And in this election, Donald Trump is the change candidate. And what we've had in this race is a very high level of undecideds, even within a week or two of the election, of 16 points undecided. And what happens in a change election, this happened in 1980 as well, in the final week, those undecideds go towards the challenger. And the challenger in this case is Trump, and the status quo candidate is Hillary. So I think that what's happening with this FBI thing is everybody saying, oh, it's the FBI thing is changing everything. I think it was changing anyway. I think the FBI thing doesn't hurt. It's sort of the icing on the cake. It ties a bow around it. But, you know, I really believe that this was taking place anyway. And we've seen in this election cycle some very strange sampling. If you look back at 2008, for instance, in the primaries, the Democrats had a turnout that was approximately D+8 over the Republicans. So they had about 8% more turnout than the Republicans did. Apologize, I thought I had turned this off. Forgive me. Apologize for that. Okay, but anyway, the Democrats had about 8% more turnout in the primaries than the Republicans in 2008. In the general election, they had about 7% more turnout. So there was a correlation between the primary turnout and the general election turnout. Then back in 2000, under Bush, it was almost the same. Very similar. Republicans had slightly higher turnout in the primaries. They had slightly higher turnout in the general election. This time, Republicans had a +1 turnout over Democrats in the primaries. Okay, we had about 1 million votes more in the primaries than Democrats. And it was actually higher than that because Trump wrapped up the nomination a month before Hillary did. So if our nomination process had gone on as long as Hillary's did, it would have been even greater, okay? So if we go back with the same correlation that we had in 2000 and 2008 between the primaries and the general, we should be looking at polls with maybe R+0, R+1, D+1 samples. Instead, for instance, this ABC poll has a D+10 sample. That's 3 points better than Obama experienced in 2008 when he had a landslide, 70,000 people at his higher than Obama experienced, despite the fact that we won the primary battle. So I've been saying all along, folks, and they know this on the Democrat side, this is not a D plus 10 election. This is not a D plus 8 election. At the most, this is a D plus 0 to D plus 2 election. And take all of these polls right now that are either tied or with Hillary winning and apply a D plus 0 or a D plus 2 sample of those, and Trump wins every one, some of them by a lot. And that's the reality of this election right now.
So you're saying this argument that there are likely to be 8-9% more Democrats voting is completely disproven by the primaries. Why do you think they do this? Is it just that's what they've always done, or are they trying to instruct, are they trying to manipulate public opinion to the point where, you know, Trump voters think, well, this is a losing battle, Trump has no chance of winning, so we're not going to bother to vote? Is it, I mean, we saw that referenced in the WikiLeaks, didn't we? So are they doing it deliberately to form this kind of narrative that Hillary's victory is inevitable?
Yeah, I think so. I think what they were trying for is they realized that Hillary is a very weak candidate here. She is a status quo candidate when the electorate is unhappy with the status quo. She can't really get out on the campaign trail. And campaign, what is she supposed to do? You know, campaign as the change candidate at the same time praising Obama. You know, it's a real problem here. So what they were trying to do is they were trying to go for an early knockout. It's like a boxing match, where if you are not as good of a boxer as the person you're up against, you go out swinging for haymakers, looking for the early knockout, so that, you know, you can take them out early, because they knew that Hillary would never survive a 15-round match against Trump. And because of social media and guys like yourself, guys like me, guys like Cernovich, because we have balanced out the media and kept everybody off the ledge, we've survived through 15 rounds, and now the points are adding up in our favor, and we're going to win the victory.
And again, we keep hearing the question over and over again. There's so much enthusiasm behind Trump. Thousands and thousands of people. In fact, I think that the attendees at the Pence rallies outnumbered those for Kaine and Clinton combined. So much enthusiasm, so seemingly little enthusiasm behind Hillary. But I mean, I posted a meme yesterday which said, you know, the problem isn't that Hillary's an unethical, corrupt, lying criminal dirtbag. Everyone knows that. The problem is that her supporters don't care. I mean, do Hillary supporters care? What do the polls show, for example, about how many Hillary-leaning supporters care about the corruption, care about this FBI investigation? Is it going to deter them from voting for her?
My friends, let me interrupt the tape for a second. I'll answer that question. There are two main reasons why Hillary voters don't care. Well, three main reasons. One, they want a woman. Doesn't matter what kind of woman. If she's got a vagina, they want a woman in the White House. Number two, they know that she's the pro-abortion candidate. Abortion to them is a religion. Number three, they're not that bright. Let's go back to the video.
Well, you know, I wanted to point out something in what you just said about the rally size that a lot of people don't get. It's a deeper thing to that. Is that in 2008, Obama had huge rallies, okay, big rallies. In 2008, I take that back. 2008, sorry. Okay. 2012, he didn't. Okay, so what was the difference? Well, in 2008, there were a lot of people that were new to the process, young people, black voters that had not voted before. They were new to the process. They wanted to experience it. They wanted to be out there. They wanted to go to the rallies. They wanted to see it. In 2008 or 2012, he didn't have big rallies anymore, even though he's the same guy, because most of his voters were experienced voters, old hat voters. So what we're seeing right now, we keep talking about the monster vote in this election. This is the 20 million people that were registered to vote in 2012 and didn't. It's a millions more than that were eligible to vote and aren't even registered. So millions and millions of voters out there. And what we're seeing is that Trump's rallies are so big because so many people going to those rallies are first-time voters, just like Obama experienced in 2008. Because old hat experienced voters don't tend to go out to rallies and stuff like that. Yeah, I've heard it. I can watch it on TV. They don't feel the need to experience it, you know. So what we're seeing in these huge rallies for Trump is all this enthusiasm of what's called the monster vote. And what's key about the monster vote is nobody is polling it because nobody knows who it is. Now, there is one poll that shows us who the monster vote is. That's the primary turnout. And all the pollsters are ignoring that. Okay, so not only are they oversampling Democrats in these polls, they're undersampling the monster vote because they say, well, we can't know what it is. Because when they call you for a poll, when they're trying to do a likely voter screen, they say, have you voted in the last 2 elections? No. Okay, you're not a likely voter. Well, that excludes all the monster vote. Okay? So not only are they oversampling, Democrats are undersampling the monster vote. So we're setting ourselves up for a tremendous, tremendous win here for Trump. That, I mean, could, shake the political landscape for a long time.
Now, my friends, this guy you're listening to, Bill Mitchell, is a big shot. He's a major syndicated radio host. He's got millions of followers on social media. And he's saying exactly what I'm saying. So how come I'm not a syndicated radio talk show host? All right, that's just me. I'm going back to the video. Here we go.
There's another aspect to this which ties into what you were talking about. Of course, Brexit. Immediately before the Brexit vote, the Remain camp was 4 points ahead. The exit polls had them ahead. They were all over the news bragging that it was over within minutes. We know what happened. Brexit won by numerous million votes, comfortable margin in the end. Is there an aspect to this where, they phone up Trump supporters, they ask, how are you going to vote? And purely through a kind of social stigma alone, many Trump supporters don't want to stay on the phone or in public that they're going to vote for Trump. But actually, when it comes down to it, they're going to vote for Trump. Is that a significant amount of people? Is this social stigma thing an actual phenomenon that you think could have an impact?
Sure. I think they call it the shy Tory effect, where people didn't want to say what they really thought. There's a certain amount of that. One of the big problems with polling right now is they call it scientific polling because it's supposed to be a scientifically random sample. But the problem is that there is a response bias that's taking place in polling now that basically means that there are no random samples out there. There are no scientific polls anymore. Back when Reagan was running for office, you got about a 45 or 50 or 60% response rate, meaning the pollster would call your house, you'd answer the phone, and you'd respond to the poll. That made the poll much more scientific. But now the response rate is about 8 or 9%. That means it's no longer scientific because you have an extra added layer in there called a response bias where you don't know who's not answering the phone. You don't know who's not answering your poll when they get on there. A lot of people now are very paranoid about identity theft. So if a total stranger calls you and starts asking you all these personal questions, you're much more likely to, either not answer or to give the safe, politically correct answers because you don't want, some government agency come knocking on your door being sent out by Hillary Clinton that you spoke against her. So there's all that going on and all these different biases going on, which shows that polling is broken. And just to add one thing, here's a perfect example. Investors Business Daily does a poll. It's been very successful the last 3 cycles. But a lot of people think that, well, if they're doing the polls and they're getting these D+N, D+8 samples, then that's just what they're getting. And maybe they're telling us that the electorate really is heavily Democrat. But one thing I like about the IBD poll is they not only give you the weighted sample, they give you the unweighted sample. They give you the raw numbers. And in their raw numbers for the last week and a half, every single poll, they have had an R+ sample in the raw sample, meaning when they're just calling people randomly, they're getting more Republicans answering than Democrats. It's been anywhere from R+0 to R+5. I think it was R+5 yesterday. Okay? So this is showing the electorate is moving right. It's a Republican sample out there. In every single instance, they have reweighted it to a D+7 to D+8 sample. So what they're doing is, for instance, they had an R+5 sample. They reweighted it to D+7. That's a 12-point gift to Hillary just to give her a 1 or 2 point lead.
And so when I tell you, my friends, not to believe the media and not to believe the polls, this guy Bill Mitchell is telling you exactly why we should not believe the polls. I've said 2 things about the results of this election. Number one, I said Hillary's going to drop out before next Tuesday, and you'll see she will. Even if I'm wrong, Donald Trump is going to stomp her into a mud hole. We'll take a break. More Riell Truth.
Hello, this is Ron Douglas, and I am founder of the Self-Reliance Expo. We're excited to announce our 6th annual Self-Reliance Expo at the National Western Complex, November 4th and 5th. It's a Friday and a Saturday. Tickets are only $10 or $15 for a weekend pass. And, of course, kids are always free because we want this to be a family-friendly event. We have food storage, water purification systems, health classes, we've got first aid classes, we have self-defense classes, you name it, we have it. We also have, we're really excited this year for the first time ever to have a training on ham radio operations, and you can take the test right there on the spot and become a certified ham radio operator. Also, we're excited to have Survival Frog as one of our sponsors. Survival Frog is giving away survival kits. That's right, 100 survival kits to the first people to walk through the door on Friday, November 4th. And Berkey Water Systems is also giving away 100 Sport Berkey water bottles to the first 100 people to show up on Friday, November 4th and 5th at the National Western Complex, Self-Reliance Expo. The Patriots Trading Group is a different kind of gold and silver company, cleaning up the industry for 21 years. Are you tired of the high-pressure sales tactics, the constant phone calls? Are you done with the bait and switch? You just want to be treated fairly with honesty and respect? That's exactly what you get when you call 800-951-0592. You have my word on it. I'm Joe Dickwood, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Check us out online at allamericangold.com. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10. Elizabeth Locker Plan and Elizabeth reminds our listeners that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early ages. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth Locker Plant, located at 366 Grass Street in Elizabeth, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized aged beef and pork and complete custom processing. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240. Nicolo's Restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
The news doesn't stop. Neither do I. My friends, welcome back. Howard Riell, Riell Truth Now. You're going to look for me on video when the show's over, right? Good. You're going to go to my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio, all right? Good. You're going to go to my webpage, rielltruth.com, right? Excellent. You're going to read my blog, right? Perfect. Only a couple of hours ago, Donald Trump was speaking to a humongous rally in Miami, Florida. Here's the beginning of it. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Women for Trump. Hispanics for Trump. There's one, women and Hispanics for Trump. Thank you very much. In 6 days, we are going to win the great state of Florida, and we are going to win back the White House 100%. We're on the cusp of an incredible historic change that transfers power from a failed political establishment and returns that power to our families, communities, and citizens, to you. The system is rigged. Remember that. The system is rigged. Right now, it's rigged. We're going to change it. There's some breaking news about that subject that we're going to discuss right now. As I mentioned yesterday, one of the, and you probably saw this, and maybe some of you have just read it, one of the top Department of Justice officials involved in the email investigation, Assistant Attorney General Peter Kasich, is a close associate of John Podesta. The two met for dinner after Clinton testified about Benghazi. And Podesta, who, by the way, said Hillary Clinton has terrible instincts on WikiLeaks, described him as the man who kept him, Podesta, out of jail. Kasich is also the one who helped lead the effort to confirm Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Now today, in a newly released email through WikiLeaks again, we learned that Katzik was feeding information about the investigation into the Clinton campaign, and that Katzik said, quote, "It will be a while before the State Department posts the emails." Remember, they were waiting for the emails. Podesta forwarded the emails to Clinton's top staff and said, "Additional chances for mischief." These are the people that want to run our country, folks. The spread of political agendas into the Justice Department. There's never been a thing like this that has happened in our country's history. Is one of the saddest things that has happened to our country. But with your votes, you can beat the system, the rigged system, and deliver justice. So show up early and vote. Show up early. You know, the lines are incredible. The polls are all saying we're going to win Florida. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Get out there and vote. Pretend we're slightly behind. You got to get out. We don't want to blow this. This is the one chance we have. It'll never happen again. It's not going to happen. In 4 years, it's not going to happen. It can't happen again. This is a movement like we have never seen in this country before.
By the way, my friends, he's absolutely right. This is a once-in-a-lifetime break in the clouds, so to speak, for the sunlight to shine in. And we have got to take advantage of it now. So you not only need to make sure you go vote up until and including November 8th, you need to bring a person with you, 2 people, 5 people. Get 10 people to promise you they'll go vote. Every single vote counts. We saw that in the last election, even more true now. Let's go back to Trump.
Crowds, the enthusiasm, the love. Got to get out and vote. Real change begins with immediately repealing and replacing Obamacare. And Hillary is not going to be the answer because she wants to make it more expensive. She's doubling down. It's just been announced that the residents of Florida, sorry to tell you this, folks, are going to experience a massive, massive double-digit premium hike. Now, I know what that hike is, but I want you to leave here happy. I want you to be happy people. I want you to think about the future after we take back the White House. So I'm not going to tell you what your hike is, but let me just say it's going to be very substantial. And Obamacare doesn't work on top of everything else. As an example, in the great state of Arizona, which I just left, premiums are going up more than 116%. It's out of control. Over 90% of the counties in Florida are losing Obamacare insurers next year. Lots of luck in your negotiation. In Minnesota, where the premium increase will be close to 60%, the Democratic governor said the Affordable Care Act is no longer affordable. Premiums are surging, companies are leaving, insurers are fleeing, doctors are quitting, and deductibles are absolutely through the roof. Wasn't supposed to be like this, but I said it was going to be like this before it was passed because I understand how business works. Obamacare never had a chance. It's a catastrophe. Yet Hillary Clinton wants to double down on Obamacare, making it even more expensive. It's going to go up a lot. People aren't going to be able to afford it, so I'm not sure that it matters. They're just not going to be able to pay.
My friends, let me ask you a question. Let's say you got food poisoning. It happens. You go to a doctor. He examines you and says, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give you more food poisoning. Here's some food that's been out of the refrigerator for 2 weeks. Eat it. Well, you'd get up and you'd run out of that office. Obviously, the doctor's crazy, right? Well, what's Hillary promising? We got terrible, terrible problems with Obamacare. She wants to make Obamacare bigger. We got terrible, horrible problems with people flooding over our border on the south and coming here from the Middle East. She wants to multiply the number of people coming here. She wants to make the problems bigger. So, if you are willing to go to a doctor's office with food poisoning and eat 10 or 20 bad mushrooms or leftover coleslaw that's been sitting in a closet for two weeks, if that's the kind of medical care you want, then yes, go vote for Hillary. But if you are sane and rational, and you know that more of a bad thing is an even worse thing, I don't see how you can possibly justify voting for Hillary Clinton, even aside from the fact that she is a corrupt, sleazy, disgusting, elite establishment political hack who's never accomplished anything in her career. Those are her good points. But when you got something like Obamacare, which is an explosion of rat poison in the healthcare system, and she's promising to make it even bigger, come on, my friends, let's get serious. Let's get real about that. You might as well put a gun to your head. I'm not telling you to do that, metaphorically speaking. Might as well put a gun to your head and blast your brains out, because that's what America will be doing if we put that shrew in the White House. We'll take a break. Riell Truth does what it always does, my friends. It marches on. Go nowhere.